this old girl out of hibernation, giving her a wash, blowing the dust off her. It's my mate John Wheeler's 750 XTZ Super Tenere. And we're going to check out a new 700 Tenere in Brisbane, Tasman Tenere tour. So looking forward to that. Got to be fitting to ride this thing up, blow the cobwebs out. So where did my interest in Teneres start? As a boy I was lucky enough to own an XT500 76 model, the first bike to win the Dakar Rally, Yamaha's first adventure bike. It was back in those days when I first read about the Yamaha Tenere in magazines and its large tank, and I dreamt of where that bike could take me. When Stefan Petterhansel rode into victory no less than 6 times in the Dakar, he created a legend. Who could ever forget seeing that Yamaha promo where Cyril Dupre joins the Yamaha factory Dakar team and is welcomed in by Mr. Dakar himself aboard his Super Tenere, Stefan Petterhansel. And not only that, we get to see them take off side by side, the 850 and the 450, the new bull and the old bull. And I reckon if we morph these two bikes together, we'd end up with something that looks pretty similar to that new 700. Finally went back to my roots, bought my first adventure bike, the Yamaha XTZ 650 Tenere, and had some awesome adventures. I then restored a blue one for the 2013 Tenere Tragics Long Reach Long Haul run. It was the 30th year anniversary celebrations of the original 1983 Tenere. So I joined the Tenere Tragics, made some great new friends, and had some awesome adventures. Gotta love those bikes. Stuck out some old Tenere Tragic stickers from the Long Reach Long Haul run. We'll stick her up and yeah, get her ready for the Trans-Tasman tour. Okay, so here we go off the Trans-Tasman Tenere tour to check out a new Tenere 700. So we're going up on John Wheeler's 750 today. Got her out of hibernation. Gave her a bit of a wash. Purring like a kitten. wherever you go on these Teneres, you're always going to run into an enthusiast who's keen to share their experiences of Teneres they've had in the past. They're known as
how are you?
Tenere Tragics.
Not too bad.
Is that one of them?
Oh, did you? Yes,
Yeah.
my belongs to a friend of mine actually that he sort of left it hibernating at my place for a couple of years, so
Yeah.
I thought I'll come up and wanted to see this, and he said, make sure you take that, not the bloody BMW.
Actually, it was my first ever adventure bike.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going really well. Actually, he's a bit rough around the edges, but he's got a new fairing kit and everything waiting for it, and he lives in Darwin actually.
Okay.
John Wheeler, yeah. And
I had a blue and white one.
yeah, oh, I love that colour too. That's
You don't
great
see
colour
many
scheme.
black ones around, eh?
No, you don't.
There's
There's
100 brought into Australia, eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Brisbane now, John. I don't know if you've heard of him. Renahan, and he does full kits for all the fairings for all the colours, all the different colours.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's good. So he's got another set waiting for it, and crash bars and all sorts of things. So yeah, should be good.
I had one number, and my mate had like 2 numbers down.
Yeah.
From it.
All the bikes here at the Novotel. So let's go check out that 700.
Bloody beautiful neck, isn't it? Lovely. Showroom condition. That's that colour scheme so eye-catching. I like the neck. Yeah. It's so clean, isn't it? It's sort of what's the showroom for?
I'm Rodney Faggotter. Grew up on a farm with bikes and chasing sheep and cattle as we do. Got the pleasure to be a part of the international rally team for Yamaha to do Dakar rally and that sort of off-road racing. We can get on the beach, but then we can be up, in the sand and up in the hills and single track, and then, not too far inland, you can be in the desert, I suppose. So you get a wide variety of terrain and, what you're going to encounter. So it's great having, the ability or a bike that can do all that. That group of guys have got everything from the first model, from 83 model, up to the current ones and the 750s and everything in between. A lot of them are die-hard Yamaha and Tenere riders, and yeah, the heart and soul of those guys is enjoying themselves off-road and adventure riding. versatility is like probably the most impressive factor. Obviously, being a twin engine, most people suspect that it handled pretty well and performed well on the road, and it does that perfectly. But I was most surprised how good it is off-road. You know, I can pretty well ride it anywhere I want off-road, like on single track, 5 trails, 4 or 5 tracks. It's so good and so versatile off-road.
It's a huge honour for us to be here. We're taking these bikes around Australia and across New Zealand to show everyone the bike before it goes on sale. So we've got a big night planned for you tonight, as I say, 30 to 40 minutes of a presentation, and we've got a lot of surprises along the way for that. We've also got a group of Yamaha Legends here for you tonight. We've got Stephen Hall with you tonight, 4 times Mr. Motocross. Rodney Faggotter, where are you? Yeah. Oh, so Rod's with us tonight. He's obviously the guy who you just saw in that video a minute ago, and normally we would say he's a Yamaha Dakar or a Yamaha factory Dakar racer first, but tonight, of course, his main thing is Tenere 700 World Raid rider and a development rider of this wonderful bike you're going to see tonight, so that's certainly taken top billing with him. We've got Andrew Clubby, where are you? Right next to me. Okay, Andrew's from Tenere Tragics, Captain Tragic we call him. He's the leader of the Tenere Tragics. How many guys have been for a ride with Clubby here? Got to be a few. I went for a bit of went for a wander out to the car park because they're going to go before we got started, and there's some gorgeous bikes out there. You see some beautiful Teneres out there. So well done for those guys who brought them. In addition to the accessories that are going to be fitted to these bikes, which we'll be unveiling later, there's also a range of accessories over there you can check out. We have a display of the latest Yamaha technical wear being released with the new Tenere 700. It's all new, so men's and women's adventure clothing. Check that out. It's got the all the greatest bits and pieces with the removable liner and back protector pockets and armour and everything like that. There's helmets as well and a series of gloves. Okay, so let's get into this. So adventure riding, motorcycling at its most enjoyable, and this little section of the presentation came courtesy of the guys in Mackay, because afterwards a few of them were coming out with some awesome quotes about why they love adventure riding, and a couple of those were that nothing gives people the freedom that adventure riding can give, and it doesn't matter if you're doing single track, technical stuff up in hills, a little bit like Rob's doing here, or if you're just out for a nice Sunday afternoon ride along some fire trails, nice and easy roaming on your bike, like Rob's doing there. It's all adventure riding, and everyone loves it, and they get out on the bikes, and it's a sense of freedom. There's no hierarchy on who's great and who's not. It is all adventure riding. One thing about adventure riding is it's all adventure. The journey is the adventure. It's not part of the adventure, it is the adventure. And Yamaha understands this, and it understands this passion. So when it was preparing to release the T7 concept model, which you may remember, it decided to do something a little bit unique, and it decided to take the customer, you guys, along for the journey and give you a bit of an adventure along the way. So when your Tenere 700 arrives, you would know its history, rather than it just appearing on the showroom floors and you remember when it was a concept a few years earlier. We've taken you along for the ride, and we've taken you along for the development ride of the new Tenere 700, so you feel more part of it. You've been part of the adventure. Journey is the adventure, as I said, and Yamaha are very passionate about that, and it's part of their marketing. So 2016, the T7 concept was launched at EICMA, and you may remember that. It seems like a while ago, but it was only 3 years ago. In fact, less. I think September was 3 years. So 3 years ago, we saw the concept for the very first time. It came out of the blue at EICMA in 2016. Not a lot of information given out by Yamaha, but we did know the bike was powered by the CP2 engine. We recognised that straight away, and that's a cracking little twin-cylinder engine that powers the MT-07 and also the XSR 700 and the Tracer 700. So we knew straight at that point that this bike was really a light and agile middleweight bike, and that was a break from the mainstream thinking at the time. At the time, back in 2016, large adventure bikes were the way to go. Yamaha looked into the future and they thought, okay, where are we going with this? And what's the next step? And what do our customers want? And they felt that, well, their homework at the time suggested that customers were after a more manageable and agile adventure bike. And so they came out with the T7 concept just to gauge a bit of public response. But as you can see, that bike was very close to what we've ended up with. Right at the beginning, there was a 4 to 5 year development strategy. Now this is very important. A brand new model, this is a new model from the ground up, will have a 4 to 5 year development strategy. We're at year 3. You put a year on for the concept building and to get the everything in the right place. We're looking at 4 years coming this September. So 4 to 5 year development strategy, we are way on track with that. One thing that was new about this bike was the all-new chassis. So that came out in 2016 and that was the T7 concept. Okay, 2017, the prototype testing got underway, and this was prototype for Tenere 700, so it's the next step up from the T7 concept. This was the early prototype for what you will see this evening. Development was put onto the new chassis and suspension, so that's where a lot of the work was concentrated on those early days to develop the new chassis and suspension package, and fine-tuning of the CP2 engine for off-road use. You've got to remember that was a twin-cylinder road bike engine. The guys knew straight away that would be great in that application as a mid-capacity adventure bike, and so they were just fine-tuning that for the off-road use. In 2018, we had the World Raid, and this was not a publicity stunt, this was global testing in full public view. Now you may remember there was plenty of photos and videos to come out of this. It wasn't done behind scenes. We didn't require any secret snapshots or any spy photos or insider information. Yamaha were quite happy to tell the world what was going on with the bike and how the development of that was coming along. Of course, the important thing here was that a lot of the development work was done in Australia. Yamaha recognised Australia as a very important part of their market. We love adventure riding, we love these bikes. We've got some of the harshest conditions here that we love to ride in. So they enlisted the help of Rodney Faggotter, who's here today. He's going to be talking about that bike, to test this bike in Australia, and has spent quite a bit of time down here on that 2018 World Raid. Also in 2018, and this is the part that I know Clubby absolutely loves, the bike took part in the Tenere Tragics. It actually wasn't entered, it just turned up out of the blue. The guys were enjoying a bit of a ride there on the Tenere Tragics 2018 up at Harvey Bay, and Rod turned up on the Tenere 700 prototype. This was not trailered in, take a look at this thing, trailered out situation. Rod actually rode the bike in, went for a ride with the guys, and everyone who was on that ride was treated to a real special occasion to get up close and personal with the bike. And to this day, Rodney still remains the only person officially to ride the Tenere 700 in Australia, but hopefully that will definitely all be changing very soon. 2019, we saw the production model arrive. As you will see tonight, the full production model, which is going into production very shortly. The 4-year target was reached. So you remember I said back at the beginning there that we started out with a 4 to 5 year development strategy. Well, that 4-year target was easily reached. The bike is true to its original design, which you can see right there. The bike, the Tenere 700 on the right, is very similar to the concept T7 that was launched. Development work by Aussie Dakar legend Rodney Faggotter means this bike is perfectly suited to Australian conditions, and when you see the bike, you'll see that's definitely the case. Full specifications were also released in 2019, and well ahead of its release, the price of $15,499 including GST plus on-road cost was released by Yamaha. So no surprises to be had when the bike's released in December. We've known for some time, and you've known for some time, what the price is going to be. That will not change. So when you see the bike tonight and you fall in love with it, you'll know exactly what you're going to be paying. $15,499, and that includes GST. You just need to add your on-road costs. So, quick rundown on the specifications. I'm not going to run through them all. You guys probably know this bike backwards. CP2 engine, 689cc twin cylinder. Same engine as in the MT-07 and the XSR 700. Absolutely cracking little engine. If anyone's ridden either of those two bikes, you'll notice how great that little engine is. It's going to be perfect in this application. Very controllable, no need for electronic support. So the guys in engineering and development decided they concentrate on just making that engine nice and sweet. It's a nice sweet engine to start with. No need to have an engine that's putting out a squillion horsepower and big numbers on the dyno, and then trying to keep it under control with the engine max. The bike is made to be very controllable right from the outset, and everything you do will be in your right hand. That's where your traction control is. For off-road use, it's got updated fuel injection, a new airbox, an upgraded cooling system, and a redesigned exhaust. So they're the main changes to the bike in preparation for its off-road use. In Australia, we'll also have an oiled foam filter, and that's for Australian release, as I said. Overseas, they'll have a paper filter, but over here, an oiled foam filter will be fitted to the bike as standard. That's not an extra cost or something you need to organise. Okay, the chassis, as I said earlier, it's an all-new design. It's not adapted from a road bike. It's been designed to work in harmony with the CB2 engine. It's got a double brace headstock, removable down tubes. Suspension is a KYB 43mm USB fork. It's got adjustable rebound and compression. At the rear, you've got a KYB monoshock with a piggyback reservoir, and the swing arm is full aluminium, which keeps the weight down nice and low. Okay, on the features and benefits, and these are the things that you'll really notice when you see the bikes in the flesh tonight. It's got a straight seat. It's got a 870mm high seat, but the seat is quite narrow. So if you're someone who struggles with a bit of reach to the ground, you'll notice when you get on it tonight to slide forward to the tank, the seat is nice and narrow. You'll be able to get a touch on the ground. If not, you've got a low seat height and a lowering kit available. One of the bikes here, and one of the guys who are showing you the bikes tonight will explain to you which one has the lowering kit and the low seat. The thing I like the most about those is when you look at the bike with the low seat and the lowering kit, actually it doesn't look any lower than the other bikes. So it's really nicely done. But if you need a little bit of extra reach to the ground, just try that one out, and the guys can help you out with more information on that. It's got a rally style screen and 4 LED lights, a vertical mount dash, and of course a 21 18-inch wheel combo with a crossbar for GPS and 12-volt outlet. So when you ride this bike, it really is giving you the full Dakar experience, and you can see there that the colouring is very heavily based on the Dakar rally bikes. Okay, switchable ABS. This is a question we've had a lot of in Mackay. Okay, the ABS is switchable. You just need to press a button on the dash, come to a stop, press and hold the button on the dash, and it turns off the ABS for the bikes. A lot of work being done on the ergonomics. We've got natural riding position with a comfortable knee angle and good wind and weather protection, as you can see from the screen and the side protection. There's been a strong focus on the essentials. There's no gadgets on this bike, no gimmicks. It's just what you essentially need to go adventure riding. Weight is just 204 kilograms with a full fuels and liquids, or 187 kilos dry, and that's lighter than the Tenere 600 it replaces, 660 sorry, and double the power. So this thing is really going to move and be light and agile. 3 colours are going to be available in Australia, which is the 3 colours that are available around the globe. That's ceramic ice, which is a Yamaha Dakar rally bike and a competition bike inspired. There's tech black, which is dark and assertive, and also competition white, which is the heritage inspired colour, which if you have a look at the XT down the back, so the old Tenere 660 down the back, it's a gorgeous looking thing, and this colour is inspired by that. So there's a bit of a heritage behind the old Tenere model, isn't there, Clubby? Just a little bit. When I first ran into Clubby a few years ago, he started raving to me about Teneres, and at the time I thought the Tenere only went back to 83, but you've since schooled me and shown me that the Tenere Legends stretches back much further, and so I'm going to leave it to Clubby to take you for a bit of a walk down Heritage Lane and probably explain a little bit more about these heritage models.
Awesome, thanks Chris, and thank you everybody for being here. When Yamaha approached me about being involved on the tour, both hands went straight up, I'm in. When they asked me, well Clubby, what are your first thoughts about the arrival of the 700 into Australia? My quote was, it's an awesome time to be a Tenere tragic. And it's as simple as that. You know, we've all been looking forward to this bike, and it's so tantalising and close now that it's just fabulous that we can actually all get together now before the official on-sale time of the bike to actually look at it, touch it, feel it, sit on it, get more information about it, and then be ready for when stocks arrive here in December. So thank you Yamaha for asking me to be involved, and I do appreciate the opportunity. Now, those of you that don't know, the Tragics has been running since 2011. Kicked that off in the Flinders Ranges of South Australia. I was working in the magazine days then full-time, said to my good mate Lance Turnley, who was working in the magazines with me, I said, hey Russ, what about we run a ride for Teneres? Do you reckon anyone will turn up? And that's a true to goodness quote. And we had about 50 blokes almost right across New South Wales and South Australia to the first run in the Flinders, mate. And we've been going gangbusters ever since then. I'm very proud to say that next year will be our 10th anniversary Tragics Run in Victoria. We'll be announcing details of that in September for registrations. The ride will take place in the first week of March, Victoria and South Australia. And the best part of next year's event is that so many of us Tragics will be riding a brand new bike, brand new 700. So just stoked to see the boys, the current Tragics that have already been with us, quite a few of you. Great to have you along as well tonight, guys. Thank you very much. I've had a lot of awesome highlights with the Tenere Tragics runs, but as we've alluded to here tonight, the best one has been in 2018 when we managed to score a fair old coup with the 700 World Raid prototype. We've got Rodney along on the ride. He was the first rider to ride the bike on the World Raid program, Next Horizon program, and his outing was here in Australia with us on the Tragics. And sorry, mate. And I just wanted to thank Rodney again. We managed to keep it classified information, mate, from all the Tragics when the bike arrived a few days before we gathered at Harvey Bay. And I'm just going to publicly say again, thanks, Rod, for keeping the surprise, and then capping the surprise with a wheel stand down the main drag of Harvey Bay Marina, and then Drake sliding in there with us for the official group photo. It was an awesome arrival for the new bike, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Chloe. Yeah, it was a bit hard to keep it quiet. Obviously, all the Tenere Tragics were gathered there, so you know, if you're going to up around on a bike that they've sort of seen spy photos of from Ekman and that. So yeah, we managed to dodge a bullet there, and you know, we've done our beach runs and photos and filming, so it was pretty special. And then yeah, for the, you know, I think Clubby and Yamaha did a great job getting the Tenere Tragics there at the Boat Harbour. Like I say, we sort of brought the bike to the attention by throwing a wheelie up there, up the main drag, and sort of in the back of my mind is, you know, I'm the first rider to ride this thing. There's only one in the world that not stuff this up, you know.
No pressure, son.
No pressure. It's going to take me a little bit to explain it to Yamaha Motor Europe or Japan. You know, we dinged it on the first day. But fortunately we pulled that off, and yeah, I think everyone was genuinely surprised and had no idea it was going to be there, you know, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I think the other extension then of that story from about 18 months ago to today with the tour now, what I'm most stoked about, I know Rodney's stoked about it, Gawley, all the other Tragics that saw the bike back then, in that was March 2018, a prototype, to what we've got here now tonight as the production model. I think it's fair to say it's not much difference, mate, other than some body panels that were obviously pre-production ones back then on that prototype, but the bike's very close to what you rode on that World Raid program.
Yeah, exactly right. I can hardly think much difference to it. Like you say, there's a few body panel parts that hadn't quite been finished. You know, a few things were sort of cobbled together just before they finalised them, but definitely the motor, the suspension, the brakes, everything is identical from what I could see. And it's a good thing because what I rode back then was brilliant, and this thing is now, it's basically the same bike, just it's finalised, it's got that Yamaha finish to it, and I don't think you go wrong.
No, and I think that like the promotional video summed up your summation of the bike is the versatility, and I think that's absolutely the call, isn't it? It's another latest chapter, latest extension in the Tenere legend, and it's just going to be an absolutely awesome Tenere, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. As I said in that video, like it's so good to ride on road, there's no doubt. You know, Twin's always going to be sort of nice and smooth, but it was just so good to ride off road. Like I chucked up steep, slippery, you know, hill slopes, and you know, it was all running out up there. The AJ's up there, and the Glaciers Mountains, you know, it was pretty snobby terrain. So obviously we had it on the beach everywhere else, but the thing's a tractor, and you can ride it smooth, or you can ride it aggressive, and you know, get it to power slide and do whatever you want. So it's really versatile what you can do with it. You can ride it hard if you want to.
No, awesome. So obviously, good times ahead. And of course, the other reason that Yamaha did want to involve me with the tour here is to also just re-emphasise the fact that there's an awful lot of heritage in the Tenere brand, the Tenere name. We call it the Tenere spirit on the Tenere Tragics Run. And the name, of course, that's where you've got to start. If you're going to create a legend, you need a really cool name, a good name for it. And whoever in the Yamaha marketing department back there in the late 70s, early 80s, whoever threw a dart at a map of the world and it hit the Tenere desert, I would guess, in the middle of Africa, it's a pretty remote place, no rainfall as you can see there in the presentation, standing sand dunes and notorious sandstorms. which I guess if you're looking for a pretty hardcore piece of terrain to run a major off-road rally through, it ticks all the boxes. The other reference to a Tenere that some of you may but may not know is there was also a Tenere tree located in that region. Again, it was actually a landmark on old caravan routes through the Sahara Desert area, and you'll often hear historically references to the Tenere tree. In my magazine days, I had this crazy concept. I thought, oh, let's get some Tenere bikes together. Let's go, let's ride, let's go find the Tenere tree. In my research, Dr. Google told me that a drunken truck driver reversed into it a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, and the tree's no longer there. So that idea was shot to pieces. But anyway, it would have made a good story today. But that's the history behind the name for anyone that wants detail on the name. The other factor that obviously plays with the heritage of the Tenere brand is the Dakar Rally. Tenere, Yamaha, Dakar, all synonymous. The first Dakar Rally held in 1979 from Paris to Dakar proper. Just hardcore. Everyone knows that he will know the story of the Dakar, will have seen the footage of those epic old Dakar Rally events. Just like hardcore right the way through in terms of endurance, bike preparation, etc., etc. And it just captured the imaginations of people around the world, and it just spawned the whole theme of Dakar replica, rally replica motorcycles, which is right where the Tenere comes in. And I'm going to throw a reference to Stephen over the back there, that it was actually that event that created these rally bikes, and guys literally just took standard trail bikes and just made them do the job of covering big miles across the middle of nowhere, mate, didn't they?
That's right, Captain. In the early days, like Cyril Laveau, who won the first two Dakars in 79 and 80, you can see by the pictures up there, it's an XT500 initially, and then they put a big tank on the thing, and extension on the front guard, drum brakes, nothing real special, and out there and across the desert, they did it hard back in those days. Hard men, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Understatement. So of course Yamaha's involvement from those first couple of wins in 79 and 80, they were just hand-built, privateer / factory effort bikes, which ultimately then led to the first production Tenere. Now this is the one that gets the toe of the captain just a little bit as a Roman sandal, shall we say, because there's so much heritage here with the 83 model. Now the first one came from the XT550 lineage, pretty obviously a big single-cylinder 590cc motor, air oil cooled. This one puts out about 43 horsepower as it rolled off the floor back in the day. Now the figure that I find quite fascinating, 138 kilos was the dry weight for that bike. We've got one right there in the middle, which everyone should have a real good old gander at through the course of the night. There's real distinguishing features. I call it the original fat tank Japanese adventure bike. It was the first Japanese manufactured bike with the rally theme, 30 litre fuel tank, also came with the rear carrier rack, and mate, they sold like hotcakes all around the world. The original price, for those of you that might want a little bit of facts and figures in Australia, was $2,995. All right, so $3,000. I've seen them sell in restored condition more recently for $8,000. So some nice capital appreciation there on the back of the Tenere name. And anyone that ever looks for a classic ZL, they come straight to me as being the cause of why they've got to pay so much for them since we've started the Tragics run. They have, yeah, appreciated in value the mighty 34L. Now I'm stoked to see Dave here, one of the Tragics, proud 34L runner on the Tragics. He's not the only 34L owner in the room. You'll all be surprised to know that Rodney, when he's not running his factory bikes and works safari machines out there in the pastures of Longreach, you've got one in the shed there as well, Rodney. So how did you get hold of your one, mate, and are you ever going to look at one?
That's very clubby. So yeah, the Tenere Tragics come up at Longreach when we bought the course for 2013 and one of the Tragics runs. But in the sort of 12-18 months preceding that, I kept driving past this old Tenere every day at work. Basically, it was parked underneath the old shack on the way to work, and sort of getting a bit sunburned, a bit neglected, and anyway, I hounded the guy for a good 12-18 months basically until he finally gave in. But it's pretty cool to get hold of it. Like I remember growing up as a kid, looking at the advertising for him, in the Australian Dirt Bike Mag and the different magazines at the time. It's pretty unique to me, as a kid growing up. It looked like a big bike, and for the time it was a big bike, pretty unique. And yeah, pretty cool thing. I think it's just very iconic. There's nothing around like them from that time, from that period. So yeah, we've got one there, sort of just time for the 2013 run. Got it semi-restored, and yeah, it's parked up there at home. And sort of try and pull it out now and again, just to keep it all flowing through the veins. And you know, I wouldn't say it's my daily commuter, but it's pretty cool to hear the old wheel run, you know.
So another one of the second of the three milestone Tenere models that we have here tonight. So the Tenere just sparked interest, as I said, in these rally bred type bikes. By 1988, 5 years down the track from the first one in 83, this was actually the third generation of Tenere single. The 3AJ, this one's called. Now it took on a lot of the developments that were all going apace in the Dakar Rally at the time. You can see this one's loaded up with the fairing, the screen, twin headlights. It's also received electric start by this stage, rear disc brake. The tank, it looks big, but they actually moved the airbox from the traditional location under the seat behind and under the rear subframe. It's actually, the airbox is up on top of the motor on this one. So this fuel tank's gone down to 23 litres capacity from the original that had 30. But this one pumped out a few extra horsepower at about 46 horsepower, put a few more kegs on it, 165 kilograms. And I think in this blue colourway is probably, I think, one of the most special. That's based on the Sonorto Yamaha colours, factory racing colours from Europe at the time. And the third one that we've got, now there's an old rule in motorsport about cubes always rule. So of course the Dakar Rally, there was no real ceiling on upper capacity for the bikes that were taking part. So then that led to the breed of twin cylinder rally replica bikes, and Yamaha pulled the covers off the Super Tenere XTZ 750 in 1989, and we've got that one parked over there on the left hand side. It punched out about 69 horsepower. Now the weight on this one's a real curious figure to me as well. 203 kilograms drive for that bike over the back there, 750 twin cylinder. Do the correlations to the other bikes under the sheets. The new 700, 204 kilograms wet with 16 litres of fuel on board. So I just find that's telling us something there in terms of the weight. 192 kilometres top speed. But Rod, I know you as a student of the Dakar Rally, mate, when they took these to Dakar racing conditions, it just led to a breed of the YZE factory bikes, twin cylinders, even 4 cylinders like Yamaha raced some years in the Dakar. Stefan Peter Hansel, Mr. Dakar, he won 6 Dakar rallies in the 90s on bikes derived from that 750, mate.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, you look at this bike and it's just huge. It's rode this thing through the sand dunes at Dakar. And like those factory rally bikes, I've seen them in the flesh when I've been to Paris for the rally trip stuff. And, they're bigger again. They're nearly half as big again with more map gear, more that. There's just more everything everywhere. The bikes are just huge. And at the peak of the 850 factory bikes that Van Hensel won at Dakar on, must have been at the peak of the limits of doing at Dakar. They needed a huge fuel range. One of them actually ran 105 litres of fuel. And to ride a bike with that much fuel on anywhere, even down the Brisbane, would be scary for me. And these guys are pumping it through Dakar. It's just crazy.
Special, these machines there are not a one-off, there's a few of them, but it's a very special all factory gear. And funny, we seem to have one in the room. So Rod, this brings back some great memories. You spent many hours testing and riding these things, and the involvement. You've done 5 Dakars, and this one's very special. Tell us about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to finally get one here to Australia. I've sort of been trying to get one here the last few years, just running here. And I just want to have one long term, so I'm actually going to buy this one. But yeah, it's a great machine, and it's the amazing thing for me, I think, and for many people, is it's actually based, at the core of it is a standard WR450. So basically the engine and the cases and the frame is all production. Obviously, there's modifications being done with headwork and cams for the engine, and the most obvious, external modifications is the fuel tanks, front and rear. So the rear holds about 11 litres in this rear section, and then there's 3 tanks up the front that all link together. So there's 2 different fuel pumps, so you can select whether you're going to run the front tanks or the rear tank. Total capacity is nearly 32 litres, which is what you need for current Dakar stages. A lot of people ask what that range is good for. It really depends. So if it's heavy sand dune sort of riding, it may only be good for 200 kilometres because you really want the gas pretty hard and chewing through the fuel. If it's hard pack race stages, you might get 300 kilometres. And yeah, but if you're just to ride down the Brisbane Road sitting on 100, 110 k's an hour, you know, it's like any fuel injected 450, you'll probably get 500 kilometres or more quite easy. So yeah, obviously the fuel tanks, and then we've got all the nav gear, navigation tower gear up the front, and from there it's just reliability. You know, we push drive rear wheels and heavy duty chains and loose tubes, and you know, just whatever we need to get the bike through the race.
When you're in the helicopter ride, I noticed a lot of buttons in that helicopter and similar amount of buttons on the handlebars in this area. Tell us what all those things do.
Yeah, pretty well every year I go back, they add some more buttons, so sometimes I don't really know. But I think it's just to get me amused on the long road sections, really. I've just stuff going on. Also, I think there'll be a bit more hard pack and a lot of rocky hard pack hills, I suppose, so maybe a bit similar to what we've seen at Morocco. So that'll be interesting. As far as my plans go, we're still trying to finalise that. We're trying to sort of pull together enough of a deal. So Team Yamaha sort of have changed some of their management. And I can actually run the water boy position, which I've been involved in, but they're still happy to help me. But just sort of trying to finalise the deal and pull a bit of sponsorship together and make it happen.
Right, just quickly explain what the water boy conditions is. I noticed people out there, what does that mean?
So basically, my main purpose was to ensure the other riders got through the event. So if they destroyed a rear wheel, for example, if I come along, I have to donate the wheel. To break a radiator, I would donate that. But most of the time, it's just there to be support. So last year, for example, Franco got bogged twice, like in Peru, so I had to stop and pull him out of the bog holes and stuff like that. You know, so you lose a bit of time, but end of the day, yeah, it'd be good to have that ride that that you can do your own thing. But at the end of the day, I sort of grew up in a small country town in Longreach, to get a full factory ride, even if it is as a water boy, it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, certainly is. So right, as a general punt, which is the last question, how much does it cost to actually go and do Dakar?
Yeah, it's a tough one, and probably depends how you would approach it. So the cheapest way to do it would be as Moto, where they work on their bikes themselves. But from purchasing the bike, whether you buy something like this or a KTM Rally or a Husqvarna or build your own, it's going to cost sort of similar sort of dollars. And then just the entry fee alone is about 25,000 into the Dakar. And there's a lot of other fees and costs as you go along, and obviously you've got to get yourself to the event. So generally you're not going to get much change out of sort of 90 to 100 grand.
Wow. Well, thanks a lot, Rod. You've done a great job for Australia representing Yamaha over there, and you know, I think it's awesome. I'm always envious of your position over the last few years. It would have been great if I had that opportunity when I was younger, but it's all good, mate. It's all good.
Yeah, it would have been good to see you there too, Steve, and you know, you never know. We might get back there.
Too old now, mate. I'll be watching you from the helicopter these days. Knees don't like those things.
Tenere 700, I think that deserves a round of applause. So this is the all new Tenere 700. I know you guys have been hanging out to see it. We've got 3 different levels of fitment here now. The bike does come in just the one model, which is the standard model Tenere 700. Obviously, but on the red and white bike, you can see here, competition white, we fitted some accessories. This has got the mono seat rack, the low seat and the lowering kit is always on at the moment. Over here, put the blue one in the middle first. So this is the ceramic ice colour, which is the one we've really fallen in love with. It's very close to the competition colours. This one's got the pipe on it and the knobby tyres. It's got a headlight cover and a few other things. All the information's up there on the screen. If you want your bike to look just like this one, it really does look like the competition bike. The bits and pieces you need are up there on the screen. We'll keep that up there on a rolling system for some time. During the evening, you can see the guys from Yamaha Tenere accessories.
Yeah,
There's the man himself. Isn't it? Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, what a treat.
I said, you're really flying. And he said, yeah. I said, you don't have to tell me, but how much? He said, fucking heaps.
Yeah. Imagine, yeah. Okay, so that was it, the launch of the 700.